What's up, everyone? My name is Waylander69420, and this will be the first in a three-part video series I do detailing a preview and predictions for Major League Baseball in 2012. This first video will be an American League preview and predictions video. I'll go through teams I think will contend in each of the three American League divisions, key players, that kind of stuff. And then I will give you division winners and 2 wild cards, and you'll see everything, the standings and all that for all teams in the description box. I'll put that down there. And I'll also do the same thing for part 2, which will be a National League preview. And then part 3 will be playoffs and postseason awards. With that, here we go. I'm going to move west to east, just like we read, at least here in the United States. No offense to anybody who doesn't read like that. Anyways, we're going to start with the American League West. I got 2 teams I think will contend, the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim and the 2-time defending American League champion Texas Rangers. First off with the Angels, they made a big splash in the offseason, obviously, with signing Albert Pujols to a 10-year, I believe it was $250 million contract, and signing C.J. Wilson for 5 years and I believe about $70 million. Those addressed 2 needs that the Angels had, especially Pujols, because their offense last year, at least for the Angels, was not very good. But I don't think Pujols was enough. I really don't. You know, call me crazy if you want. I don't think it was enough, because Kendrys Morales, coming back from his leg, don't know about him. Mike Trumbo had a great rookie year last year. We'll see what he can do. Mike Trout, a rookie this year. Again, it's kind of a wait-and-see thing. Torrey Hunter is old. Vernon Wells is old. Howie Kendrick's still a very good player. I think one of the more underrated second basemen in the game, but he's not in that upper echelon, not that Chase Utley, Dan Uggla type. The pitching for the Angels is actually very, very good. They have arguably the best starting rotation in baseball with C.J. Wilson added on to Dan Herron, Irvin Santana, and Jared Weaver. Just absolutely phenomenal. Their bullpen, I'm kind of on it. It's going to be interesting to see how they can mesh as a unit, especially in that bullpen, and see if they can rise up and overtake the Rangers, which they've been unable to do the last couple of years. And now we move on to the Rangers, who I believe have the exact opposite problem that the Angels have. Texas' offense, if you're a baseball fan, I shouldn't have to say anything, but if you're just checking me out to check me out, I will. The Rangers' offense, in my opinion, is the best in the game today, with guys like Josh Hamilton, Ian Kinsler, Adrian Beltre, Elvis Andrus, just to spitball on a couple. Another guy, Mike Napoli. Just spitballing a few guys there who are really good. Most of those guys can hit for a lot of power. Now, you don't get the power from Andrus, but he is a stolen base guy. He'll get on base, get into scoring position for the Kinslers, the Michael Youngs, the Josh Hamiltons, Mike Napolis, so on and so forth. The pitching for Texas is good, but not great. I know they signed Yu Darvish. Comment down below if you think I'm crazy about what I'm about to say, but I'm not sold on Yu Darvish. And you hear everybody talking about, oh, he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, blah, 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 blah. I think he's full of shit until I see otherwise. Now, I am very much willing to give Yu Darvish a shot, but I was dead wrong on Daisuke Matsuzaka, and I won't make the same mistake with another Japanese pitcher, so I'm down on Yu Darvish until he proves to me otherwise. Alright, I have the Angels winning the American League West. I do have the Rangers, though, as one of my 2 wildcard teams. So, both of those teams are playoff contenders, or playoff teams in my opinion this year. Now we move on to the American League Central. The team I think is going to win this division, should be just about unanimous if you're going to be objective, would be the Detroit Tigers. I mean, the addition of Prince Fielder was huge, especially on the heels of Victor Martinez going down for the year with a blown-out knee. Putting him right behind Miguel Cabrera is just scary. I'm sorry, it's scary. The rest of the lineup, but those two guys will make up for a lot of The Tigers' pitching staff, I think, is phenomenal. Has a lot of potential behind Justin Verlander, who, for my money, is the best pitcher in the game. Yeah, fuck Roy Halladay, fuck Cliff Lee, fuck CC Sabathia, fuck the rest of them, except for maybe Tim Lincecum. Tim Lincecum is another guy I would throw in that mix. Anyways, I'll get to Lincecum in my next video. Verlander, for my money, the best pitcher in the game. Max Scherzer, Doug Fister behind him. Very good young core. Verlander's only, I believe, like 27. He's not that old, but he's been around a long time already. So we'll see if that starts to catch up with him over the next couple of years. This year, not so much. I'll throw another team out there in the American League Central that could be a sleeper, but I'm not 100% sold on, and that's Cleveland Indians. The acquisition last trade deadline of Ubaldo Jimenez was big, especially now with the news that Fausto Carmona used a fake name and may not play for the Indians pretty much ever again because he basically lied. Ubaldo Jimenez is going to have to get back to his form in 2010 with the Rockies if the Indians expect to even sniff the Tigers. I don't know if it's going to happen. Personally, I don't think so. But also, I won't be surprised if it does. And now we'll move on to the American League East. I've got three teams I think will contend for the American League East Championship this year. The Boston Red Sox, the New York Yankees, and the Tampa Bay Rays. First off, I have the Red Sox winning the American League Eastern Division this year, behind a resurgent John Lester, a finally healthy Clay Buchholz, and Josh Beckett, who I think will be better than he was in 2010. Maybe not quite as good as he was in 2011, but still better than 2010, 2009 when he was just god-awful. The offense for the Red Sox, I shouldn't have to say anything about most of these guys, the Youkilis's, the Dustin Pedroias, David Ortiz, Jacoby Ellsbury, who I expect to have an absolutely phenomenal season this year. You know, guys, Adrian Gonzalez. One guy I will touch on very quickly is Carl Crawford. I expect Crawford to bounce back in 2012 from a dismal 2011. He was awful, at least by his standards. He wasn't Adam Dunn bad, but he wasn't Carl Crawford either. I expect Carl Crawford to bounce back in that second year in that Boston market. If he doesn't, then don't be surprised. And if in the offseason the Red Sox don't try and move Carl Crawford. It'd be hard to move a guy with that big a contract, but you never know. I think Crawford will bounce back. I expect 280, 15 to 20 homers, 60 to 70 RBIs, 40 stolen bases. It's a big year. If you can get Ellsbury and Crawford, 1-2 in that lineup, each able to go possibly 20-20 easily. I mean, I could see Ellsbury going 30-30 or 40-40 even. I could see Crawford going 30-30. More unlikely, but it's possible. The Red Sox will be dangerous in 2012, mark my words. And now we get to the New York Yankees. I hate the Yankees as a fan. Now, fuck the Yankees. Fuck them, fuck them, fuck them. But I'm going to be objective here. I do have the Yankees, my other wildcard team outside of the Texas Rangers. And that's based on an actually very much improved pitching staff, in my opinion. You know, you have CC Sabathia, you have Ivan Nova, who had a big year last year. I'm not sure he's going to be able to duplicate that, but the addition of Michael Pineda from the Mariners, I think, was big. You know, take a little pressure off of Nova to be that number 2 guy. Pineda can be that number 2 guy behind Sabathia. And Mariano Rivera, I don't really need to say too much about him. He's the best closer to ever play the game. Personally, I think he's going to have a bit of a drop-off this year as opposed to what he's done throughout his career. But that's just because he's, 41 or 42 years old. He's an old man, essentially, by Major League Baseball standards. The offense for the Yankees, I'm not going to talk too much about it. It's phenomenal. That's just the way it always has been, at least since George Steinbrenner bought the damn team. I will touch very quickly on Brett Gardner. I think he is a phenomenal talent. He needs to be hitting leadoff in that lineup, not number 9. Put Jeter in that number 9 spot if you want to have that kind of setup. Yeah, fuck you, Derek Jeter. You're not a leadoff man anymore. Fuck you. And now we will move on to the Tampa Bay Rays, who I believe have the best young pitching staff in the American League. Give them 5 years, this is going to be the best pitching staff, I think, in all of baseball. And it starts at the top with David Price. And the guy is a beast, and he's only, I believe, 24, 25 years old. He's young, he's talented, damn near throws 100 miles an hour as a left-handed pitcher. You don't see that very often. He thinks he's Randy Johnson. He may very well be just as good. And then youngster Matt Moore, my pick to win American League Rookie of the Year. He was phenomenal and very, very little action last year. A full season under his belt this year. I think he's going to be great. Jeremy Hellickson, last year's American League Rookie of the Year, only going to get better. The offense for Tampa is why I don't have them in the playoffs, essentially. Carlos Pena, good power hitter, something they didn't have last year, but you're going to lose at least 60 points in the batting average from first base. Casey Kotchman hit over 300 last year. Carlos Pena is not going to hit higher than 240, I think. 250, maybe. 240, I think, is more realistic. But he's going to give you more power. He's going to give you 25 to 30 home runs, which is something the Rays needed last year, especially with the health concerns they had at least last season with Evan Longoria spending some time on the DL. Longoria, I think, will be healthy this year. He'll be just basically Evan Longoria. For my money, he's the best third baseman in the game when he's healthy. Yeah, fuck you, David Wright. And B.J. Upton, inconsistent, yes. I think he's going to have a big year. I think he could go 30-30 with a 280 to 300 batting average. Contend for the MVP even. But I also won't be surprised if he hits 250 with 10 home runs and 35 RBIs and he ends up getting sent down to the minor leagues. That won't shock me either. A little quick recap here on the American League. My American League Western Division champion is the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. The American League Central Division champions are the Detroit Tigers. The American League Eastern Division champions are the Boston Red Sox. My 2 wildcard teams are the Texas Rangers and the New York Yankees. Go ahead and tune in to my National League preview video that I'm going to be doing. And this is Wayland 69420 signing out.